What's up, everyone? You've probably heard that PDT rules are changing, and today I'm going to quickly cover what those changes are, and I'm also quickly going to talk about what margin and leverage accounts are and how that impacts day traders as a whole in terms of the changes that are being put forward. So let's have a quick look at my screen share here and go through some of the points that I want to cover today. So PDT stands for Pattern Day Trader. And it was introduced in 2001 amid the dot-com bubble and crash. And it only applies to US traders with margin accounts who execute 4 or more day trades in 5 business days. Of course, if you're a non-US resident and you have an account with a US-based broker, that rule will apply to you too. And it requires a 25,000 minimum balance to keep trading without restrictions. And the reason it exists, it really is there to protect inexperienced traders from overtrading with borrowed money. So what is a margin account? It's an account where your broker lends you money to trade, and you don't have to wait for settled funds to trade. So that's the key important thing. Whereas with a cash account, you have to wait for those funds to settle before you can trade. And with that comes leverage. And what leverage does, it allows you to control more buying power than your actual cash. For example, if you've got a $5,000 account with a 4-to-1 leverage, you have a buying power of $20,000. And what are these proposed changes? So FINRA has approved amendments that would replace the long-standing 25,000 minimum equity rule for pattern day trading. And the changes are pending approval by the SEC. And I had a look on the FINRA's website and managed to find the news release that they had around this topic. So I'll share that in the description below so you can have a read for yourself and see how that might impact you. So how have day traders circumvented the PDT rule if they were based in the US or outside of the US? So one way to do that is to use offshore brokers. The PDT rules only apply to US regulated brokers, and it doesn't apply to brokers that are based outside of the US. Offshore brokers don't generally enforce the PDT rule, but they carry a higher risk due to lack of SIPC insurance, which is there to protect your assets and your capital in case that broker falls into hard times and they're unable to pay back the money that you've deposited with them or the stocks that you hold with them. And in terms of perhaps how this might impact the wider industry is that, of course, it lowers the bar for entry, but it means that instead of you having to have this additional risk and also paying extra fees to use offshore brokers, you can use readily available regulated US-based brokers, which allow you to offer lower fees and also offer you that additional protection. I think one of the key things here is, which we hope that they would also take into account, is that it would be much better if they actually offer these accounts on margin rather than margin and leverage. Because if you think about it as a new trader where you've backtested your strategy in a simulator and you really would just want to put some money behind it, instead of suddenly being having to think about leverage too and also have the discipline to not use the leverage, you already are put at a disadvantage straight away, because if you don't have a choice of opting out of it. So if you had the choice to opt out of leverage and you only use margin, so you could literally take many trades with your $2,000 cash account and use whatever buying power that offers you. So that means the number of shares that you're buying will be less, and therefore the impact on your account will be much less, rather instead of using leverage as well as your margin account. So for example, the strategy that I am backtesting at the moment, I'm implementing with 20 share sizes, and I currently have a $1,000 account. If the US brokers offered margin accounts, I think a $1,000 account will be more than enough for me to be able to carry out my strategy, because I buy 20 shares and I sell 20 shares. And if I was allowed to just take number of trades just based on my cash account, that'll be much better for me, because then I will never step really outside of those boundaries, and my risk is really limited to that cash account. But in any case, I hope you found that video useful, and let's see what the SEC says in the next couple of weeks. And what that would really mean in terms of us as day traders, I think there will be more volume that will be perhaps coming in. I hope that beginner traders are not really encouraged to take a lot of use their leverage and actually stick to their rules. But remember, everything that I've talked about here is not financial advice. This is just a guidance video. It's just educational purposes. And I'm just sharing some of the news that we've heard this week. But I hope you liked that video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you.